Hello everybody, welcome back to Photo Australia, part 2 of our episode. So I hope you enjoy. We'll get straight back into where we left off. All right, we'll leave that at the moment.
That's a question for future reference.
That is. So moving on, we can adjust the sky another way, and that would be to focus on your highlights. We can actually bring the highlights slider across, and that will help darken your sky a little bit. Now, if we go to our next tab, and we have a sharpening, I usually find that our lenses are pretty good for sharpening, and that's one thing you don't want to overdo is sharpening on a photo. You can add a little bit. Let's have a look what it wants to do. And at the moment, they've only just put a little bit on. The worst thing you can do is over sharpen a photo. So I'm happy with that. It's only putting a little bit on. Ones I like to play around with. You've got a bit of. You can work on your noise, but just remember if you add noise reduction, you then run into the ability of softening your photo. So I'm not a big worrier of grain. I mean, some people get a bit carried away with grain. Grain is photography far as I'm concerned, same as back in film days. And that I think grain is all a part of it. And occasionally I've actually put grain into some of my photos to give it more of a grungy look. So I'm not a big worrier of grain. So the only things that you might worry about noise is if there's a bit of colour noise, or in nature photography, sometimes you want to clean up some of your nature, like if it's a shot of a bird or a bear or whatever. Sometimes if it's really dark and you've got a bit of grain there, you might want to clean it up. But I'm not a big one on worried about the grain.
Another interesting one, Brad, is that local contrast you just went over before. Back up a bit. There. Have a look at that.
This one.
Again, a lot of the adjustments.
That one there reminds me of the either the texture filter in Lightroom or the clarity.
Okay. Very subtle, isn't it?
Yes.
But gee, makes a difference.
Just adds a bit. It's a bit the same in Lightroom with you don't want to go overboard, and I'm actually pretty happy with their original settings of just clicking it on. It's not, as I click it off, it's not a huge amount that it's applying to the photo, and all these settings, even in Lightroom, you don't want to overdo the photo. So I'm pretty happy with the amount, but you can grab the slider and you can actually see that really reminds me of the clarity. Not quite as strong as Lightroom, but like I said, that's a good thing. You don't want to overpower something, because I've seen photos that are overdone, and you start getting fringing and the photo starts falling apart, and it looks terrible. Whereas if you go with a bit more of a natural look and only just small amounts, you'll get a more refined photo.
I think this is more of your clarity tool there, your edges.
Yeah.
It apparently applies sharpening just to the edges.
Edges of it.
Yeah.
Clarity, I think, that runs right through your whole photo. It won't just cling to your edges. It's not really sharpening, but it's similar to sharpening. A lot of people have argued over the clarity in Lightroom, but of what it exactly does. But I wouldn't say it's exactly sharpening, but it almost seems to almost texture each pixel on its own. But I'm not exactly sure what the science is behind it. Once again, a little bit is fine. What's this one? Micro contrast. A lot of these tools only do very small amounts. Micro contrast. So that must be operating off the contrast somehow. Okay, let's bump it up.
And you see at the bottom of that another box, the matrix box.
Yep, the 3x3 matrix instead of 5x5.
Yeah, yeah.
So that must be targeting in closer again with its algorithm.
Yep. So a lot of this I put my hand up to not understanding, but
hey, I'm there. This is all new to me.
but
I'm a complete fool in here. But the thing is, even being a complete fool, I don't know what it looks like on your screen.
Looks pretty good here.
I won't get too close to you, Grant.
That's all right.
But it's looking better.
Yep.
Yeah, it's slightly stronger on your screen.
Yep.
And I guessed that because we're operating off of different screens.
But if you keep dragging down, and we'll keep this moving along.
Noise reduction there.
Yep.
Which I wouldn't touch on. You shouldn't need noise reduction on a landscape.
No.
So defringe.
And now
So
you can get into this, Brad.
so
if
the
you really
interesting-
want to go and play.
you want a photo that's got bad fringing, Grant, to see that one.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
So this one, I don't see any bad fringing in it.
No.
Mind you, I am looking at a low resolution, but it is pretty big. I don't think there's any fringing there.
No.
You don't see any fringing there?
No,
I don't.
I've got none over here.
I was going to say it looks pretty good, but that'd be interesting to see how that would go, and might be for another episode too. Is get a really. I mean, we've got one of your photos here. Maybe we should put one of my horrible photos up here with some bad fringing, and give that, because it'd be good to see this with a terrible photo too. Haze removal.
Now, haze removal, I find this really interesting. Doesn't work on all images, but gee whiz, it can produce some really stunning results on images that have got a bit of haze, a bit of fog, a bit of mist, a bit of atmospheric interference in them. This cleans them up. Something incredible.
Yeah, I know, and again, I keep referring to Lightroom, but it's the software I use mainly. This is actually good for me because I get to see other software, which we're going to go through a lot of different brands of software on this series. So I'm finding this great because I get to play around with them. But there's also same sort of thing. If you've got especially in some climates, you'll find that there's just always, even though that it's not fog or anything, you just get that little bit of haze, that just murky, just a bit of a murky situation over it. And those tools can be quite handy because they just clean them up.
And again, the thing with RAW Therapee that impresses me, that every one of these
white balances
boxes
there.
you get, you generally, when you open it up, you get there's another layer behind it of adjustments again, if you want to dig into it deeper and deeper all the time. So it's an interesting piece of software, and given that it's free, it's quite amazing.
I like the ability that they've got there, and it's probably because different people are coming up with different things for it, that you have to enable what you want to use. So it's a bit like going back to the first tab where there was a couple of different versions of shadows. So you basically use the tool that you want to use on your photo. So so you don't have to worry about like some of these boxes. If you don't want to use it, you leave it off, and it's not impacting your photo at all.
No, and you can't inadvertently make changes then that you regret later.
Yeah, so black and white control. Yeah, and you got your You've got pretty much everything I've seen that what you'd find in Lightroom. Okay, and some other stuff that I haven't got my head around. Colour toning, so I presume that'd be like split toning, which can be handy for if you want to set a mood to a photo. Oh, let's activate it first. Colour toning, let's see what it does. Or does it let you pick one, or does it you have to? Okay, what's it targeting? Targeting your darks by the... Oh, well, hang on, what's this method? Yeah, I'd have to play with this. But the good thing is you can just turn it back off again. But I think that would be similar to split toning, where you can actually add a colour to your shadows or a colour to your highlights, I believe. Colour management. Okay, you can set colour managements by the looks. That would be for another episode talking about that. Okay, well this is the magic.
resonates.
This is the magic button here.
And it's, look, again, it's not everyone's cup of tea. It works on some images, and others I've used it and gone, oh God no. But from my memory, what you're looking at with it turned off was more of what I was actually looking at the time. But I'm not sure. Now,
Yeah,
when you do that,
I'm just playing with it.
Yeah.
Personally, I was getting, and I left it on. Hang on. Go off. There we go. Personally, and I have a quick look at yours again. The photo is getting more likely, I think, slightly dark on your monitor there than mine here. Come and have a look. I'll stand back.
Yeah.
Come and have a look on my screen there.
Yeah, that's pretty much like it was. Yep, that's getting very
Very
accurate.
That's getting somewhere I would be getting excited about.
Yep.
Naturally, there's always going to be small tweaks that you make. Sorry, I just yelled into the microphone then. Small tweaks that you make along the way of finer details. But if you can quickly, I don't think we've been editing this long, if you can quickly get to a stage where it's close, very quickly, you're doing something right.
Yeah. Brad, just go back one click, go to that one, go right down the bottom of it. Do you have any idea what wavelets are?
Sorry, I'm still looking at some of this stuff. Where's wavelets?
I mean, this thing does give you some incredible...
Edge sharpness.
Yep.
Toning.
Chroma.
Yep. I know what all that is. Contrast. They're very fine.
Wavelet levels.
Wavelet settings. Wavelet levels.
What the hell are wavelets?
We'll
have to do some homework on
I
that.
think I would. I've got to activate it first. Yep. I don't know. No. I bet you it's doing something.
Yeah.
I was hoping to see what it was going to do.
Yeah.
What's the histogram doing? And it's not doing a lot there. You probably have to tell it to do something. I'm not exactly sure. That's
no, I haven't worked it out either yet.
But that's the interesting thing about this software is that it is very in depth. I'll give you that.
Yeah, it really is.
It's very in depth.
Going into the bowels of the thing, so to speak.
But the good thing also is not seeing this software for the first time, I still feel confident that I'd be able to produce the photo I'm looking for. Yep. Even though that most of those boxes I don't understand. But either looking it up, I'm sure there's probably plenty of information online about it.
There online, if you just drag right to the bottom of the screen, this final touch-up's interesting too. If you hit that, activate that, again, you hardly notice it, but it actually has made just a couple of, just fine-tunes things in a very subtle manner. But it has a online manual called Rawpedia, like encyclopedia, but this is Rawpedia, and you'll see it in the if you download it, you'll get links to that as well, and that is very comprehensive.
Yeah, a lot of fine tuning by the looks of things. Yeah. But the thing is also is that you don't have to use.
No, you don't have to use it.
By the looks of it, you just pick and choose what you want to use, and go for it. And the way I see it, when that's with any software, if you can get along with it, and if you can produce from your start photo, which is a raw photo that hasn't been processed, and if you can get to an end product that works for you, and you're happy to use the software of whatever you're using, there's so many out there, I think it's great. I mean, there is no right or wrong software out there, in my opinion, and sometimes you use more than just the one software. So you might just take this and put it into another one just to do a final thing. Yeah, no, I'm quite impressed with it at first glances, and there's certainly a lot. I haven't even gotten all through the tabs yet, and there's heaps of tools down the bottom and the top. I haven't looked at what they do yet, yeah, that's it's certainly got the base photo to an area where I would be thinking about just doing just the final tune, and it'd be ready for printing.
Yeah. So there we are, folks.
What about printing? Can you print from this?
That's a good question.
You'd have to, wouldn't you?
Just pull that down there. I've never done that.
It'd be the last tab, I'd think.
Normally I save to, I don't use anything. I print from a different program again.
Oh, so, well, I use Lightroom, so I'll give the cursor over to you because I can't see the edges of the screen. I can only see the middle.
Right. Okay, so folks, that is RAW Therapee. In this, in these difficult times that we're living in, if you're sitting at home and you've got those thousands and thousands of photographs from over the years that you've put together, and you're dragging them out, and you're pondering what software to buy, and you've been tempted with all sorts of deals, and there are some pretty amazing deals going around from software companies at the moment, but you're uncertain about them, have a play with this one. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. It's not nasty. It doesn't put anything attached to the download. You don't get bombarded with stuff from it afterwards. It is, and it's truly free in that you download this. It's not free to use. I'll rephrase that. I'll pause that. When you download RAW Therapee, it is free to use. Some software advertises itself as free to download, and then if you want to use it, you've got to pay for it on top of that. RAW Therapee is free all the way through, and they do not hassle you for upgrades or donations or better versions or anything else. What you've just had a quick look at is what you get. So there you go. That's a freebie for you. Hope you enjoy it, hope you use it, and look forward to any feedback you want to give us. Thank you.
So with that, we'll close this episode. It's great to have you along, and if you hit the subscribe button below, let us know what you think of the videos in the comments. Also, just before we finish, if you're a camera club out there and you want to drop us a line, if you want to talk to us, we have started setting up our studio here. We'll be able to do webcam videos and do live hookups. So if you're a camera club out there and you want to get involved with us, please feel free. And we're wanting to do it with you guys. And yeah, we might be able to do a video and do a live hookup, and we'll have a bit of a chat. So we're going to keep changing these videos and doing different things. So this was in with this software. Give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time. So catch you later.
Bye-bye.